talent is talent. If you're talented, if you're good at what you do, whether you have a disability should be irrelevant. Disability is one of those protected characteristics that is so varied. Every individual has a different level of ability, a different level of need, and the biggest thing I think is the fear about engaging with an individual that has a disability. We've created a culture of don't ask, don't tell, so to speak. So the Equality Act has a provision in it that says if you have a disability, you don't have to disclose it when you're applying for a job. For somebody like myself that has a physical disability, a very visual disability, there's certain information I would need about applying for a job. So I would need to mention the fact that I'm a wheelchair user because I would need parking, I would need level entries to get in. That generates a level of fear within employers around, well, how do we manage that situation? So the big thing is the fear element, to be brutally honest. The fear of engaging with somebody with a disability, the fear of getting it wrong, and just the general fear of what's that going to look like in our working environment. And people tend to get so consumed with this element of fear that they just totally disengage with the subject whatsoever. So we end up creating additional barriers that needn't be there. So we're a specialist recruitment agency and a recruitment consultancy, and we specialise in working with disabled individuals, those with additional learning needs, long-term health conditions, mental health conditions, to support their journey into employment. So there's two sides to the organisation. We have a fully inclusive jobs board, which is very, very unique. There's nothing else like it in the marketplace. And we have a consultancy side of the business, because what we've realised is we need to put as much effort into supporting disabled candidates into work, and we need to replicate that with employers, because employers need to go on a journey to be more inclusive, to understand reasonable adjustments, to understand access to work processes and provisions, to maximise the opportunity that they've got to get the best talent. So our kind of strapline for what we do, we've got two really. First one is talent is talent. Doesn't matter how that individual's packaged, we can manage that side of it. If we focus on the talent, we get the best people in our organisations. And the second one is that disabled people don't lack capability, they lack opportunity. It's absolutely possible to have somebody with a disability working in the industry. And I think with the skill shortage, with the levels of disability unemployment, it's a match made in heaven, because we've got people desperate to work, we've got organisations desperate for staff. Well, let's start being more inclusive and we can fulfil some of those shortfalls. I think what we need to do is educate people around what construction actually is. When you ask somebody to give a definition of what they think construction is, they'll always go by what they see when they wheel past a building site or drive past a building site. You see the hard hats, the high vises, the porter cabins, cranes, whatever. What they don't see is the months and years of work that goes before anybody ever steps foot on site. So for me, it's about educating people about the whole construction process from inception through to completion, identifying what those roles look like and what that means to an individual, and creating pathways for disabled people and those with additional learning needs to embark on that career. I think for me, my background is in the industry. I was a bricklayer and I worked my way up through the management side of things. I'm a bilateral double amputee and I still work in construction now. I'm an accredited AccXel consultant. I do access surveys, I do feasibility studies, I do design reviews, and 90% of that is done from behind a desk. So my disability hasn't stopped me working in construction. It means I have to do it differently, but I still have work in construction. I still do work around that. So it's that educational piece from the individual's perspective as to what the industry is and what parts of it make up that industry as a whole, but also from the construction companies to be more open to, okay, somebody can't walk, but that doesn't mean they can't work in construction. They could do an admin job, they could train to be a QS. There's a multitude of roles that they could do without the need to ever go onto a construction site. For me, I love the industry. I left school at 16, went straight into construction. Over the years, industry has given me so much opportunity to learn new skills, learn new things, meet some amazing people, meet some amazing organisations. I want disabled people to experience that as well. Whatever level they wish to go into, I want them to experience that. The big thing for me, when I got injured, And when I got out of hospital, I thought my life was over. I couldn't see a way forward living with my disability. And I had a lot of support from the Child Institute of Building. I went back to work in construction, and I qualified as an AccXel consultant. So that was a huge part of my recovery. And I've loved every minute of it. And I think that we are missing out on so much potential talent, and we are missing out on providing opportunities for people to really do something quite amazing within the industry because of a lack of understanding. So my ultimate goal is create that understanding, create that equity, provide the opportunities, and then hopefully we have a more inclusive construction industry where you will see somebody in a construction office sitting behind a desk in a wheelchair, or that wears a hearing aid, or that has a neurodiverse condition, but they're flourishing in their career because we've built a support package that enables them to do that. Therefore, they get the opportunity, the construction company gets the best talent out there. Because we all want that. Whatever our business is, we want the best talent in there.